Hello and welcome to the Wash Podcast with Leonte Carew. I am your co-host, Mike Embrick, and today we have a very special guest for you, the premier sports reporter in the state of New Jersey, voted one of the best in the nation by the Associated Press, covers Rutgers. He's the host of the Rutgers Rant, and he covers Rutgers football. He covers the Giants, the Jets, and we're going to get into all that today. I'm very honored to and very happy to have from New Jersey Advanced Media, Steve Politi. Steve, how are you?
I'm great, guys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, and it's our honor to host you. So before we get started, I just wanted to take the time to acknowledge the passing of a great reporter at NJ Advanced Media, Matt Arco. He was a good friend, and I always loved talking to him down at the State House when I worked down there. Always enjoyed his company, and we're certainly thinking of him and you all, the NJ Advanced Media family here in New Jersey. So we're going to get started. I'm going to pass it to Leonte. He's got some questions for you. I'm sure you have some questions for us. So let's get going.
Welcome, Steve. Welcome to the show. Honored to have you.
What can you tell us about the Rutgers football season this year? And do you have any special memories of Leonte?
Yeah, so the Rutgers football season, I think this is finally the program is turning the corner. You know, they went through some dark days. Greg Shannon, it took a while to build it back, get the foundation set. You've seen 2 straight bowl seasons. And I think now you look at what the team's got this year. The expectation is to get to a bowl. And that's where the program wanted to be. That's where Greg Schiano got it the first time around. I think they're going to be really good offensively, which is unusual. Leonte had been good offensively since you were there, essentially. So this is the first time in a while they get a count on that side of the ball. They got a quarterback in Ethan Kalikmanis, he's very good. He's not great, but he's a very efficient passer. And I think they've got skill positions, a couple of running backs they really like. Finally have some talent. Finally have depth at the offensive line. So overall, I think they should be pretty good. As far as what I remember about your team, Leonte, I mean, I think back to that. We were actually talking about like trying to figure out who the best coordinator in Rutgers history was. And I just remember that year because I think it was Ralph Friedgen was the coordinator at that point.
Yep.
And I just remember like it seemed like every game you guys only had one option and was throwing the ball to you. And somehow defenses couldn't stop it, which was really like I don't get it. It's not like there's 20 things going on here. We all know where the ball's going. I remember sitting in the press box defend me, put a guy on Leonte, cover him. It was really weird. Yeah, that was my memory of you playing.
Yeah, well, Leonte was pretty uncoverable. I've watched a bit of his tape, and I feel bad for the DBs that had to go up against him. So I guess our next question for you is so Governor Murphy, do you think Rutgers president or not?
No, I'm guessing that they approached him and he was not interested. It seems like they're going to go in the more traditional path. Although I thought Murphy, the job of university president these days isn't academics. It's fundraising and managing a good corporation, in a lot of ways dealing with government. So those are 3 things that Murphy could have done. It wasn't a crazy idea. It looks like though they're going to go more traditional route.
Right. So I think it would be a dumb move for him. He's certainly going to be heavily involved in the next presidential race in 2028. So I could see him landing a cabinet position or something like that. So Governor Murphy, if you're watching,
there is one. You're making a big. Are we sure now? You're making a big jump.
Yeah. No. I mean, look, you're right. Yeah. You never know what's going to happen in Washington. Maybe not leaving office may be on the table again. You're absolutely right about that, Steve.
So, Steve, I wanted to ask you a question now that I have a very respected reporter on with us. So when I was in Miami, let me take it back. When I was at Rutgers, I really never had, you guys never really said anything bad about me. So I never really had to deal with reporters talking crap about you on, the Rutgers media page or in the paper. And then I see him in the locker room and you interview me. And then I'm looking at you like I want to punch this guy in the face. But when I was in Miami, we had this one reporter and I just feel like he was always on me. And his name was Omar. And every day, another drop pass by Carew. Carew looks overweight. Carew looks this. And every day he would say something to me. So I just wanted to ask you, when you're reporting on these guys, do you take it personal? Are you worried about any of that stuff? Or you just go out there and you just realize it's part of the game and it's just your job that you're doing?
Yeah, I memean, certainly in the college level, even in the pro level, I don't think there's any need to be, take it personally or be overly critical. I mean, sometimes you're writing what's happening, right? Like if Daniel Jones is struggling at quarterback, there's no, like, I don't need to, say he sucks. I can write that he completed 10 of 37 passes, right? And threw 4 interceptions. Like it's just put the facts out there. And
yes.
Like that. And and certainly at the college level, I mean, I don't like, even now, with guys getting paid at college sports, I still look at the athletes who go through Rutgers as they're young men. They're not they're not professionals to me yet. I still haven't made that connection. So I always, remember that when I'm writing and try to keep that in mind. It's Greg Schiano. He's the one who's making $6 million a year. So if they lose a game, I have no problem criticizing him for, a bonehead decision or ripping his game plan or doing, and I think he's totally fine with that too. Like He gets it. That's part of it. He'd rather have me rip him than rip you. Right. And that's kind of how I've approached it. There were a couple of situations, and I don't know if you remember this, like the biggest game in Rutgers history before you got there, they were playing in West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a chance to go to the Orange Bowl.
Yep.
If they won that game. And it was a drop pass.
Yes.
A guy named James Townsend.
Yep. I remember.
He was like the fourth best receiver on that team.
Yep.
And he just couldn't make the play. Doesn't make him a bad kid. Doesn't make, he wasn't a pro. He wasn't someone going someplace. I just don't see any need to rip him for that or to call him out. You just wrote he dropped the pass, I mean, that kind of stuff like that, for me, it stayed with me that I don't want to be someone who, is piling on someone who's that young. I can see it, and I you talk about the profession in general. I hate that there are people who do that. If that's the case, it sucks. But for the most part, you try to keep it professional. You try to keep the personal stuff out of it. I
respect that, Steve. Omar, if you're listening, see that's the way you are supposed to report. Like,
but Omar kind of got you. Didn't you drop? You didn't drop any passes or something?
Well, in college, rarely. So it's like,
so Omar was keeping you on it.
But did you talk? That's the other part of it. Like the one thing I say, like when I do criticize someone, I want to be there the next day, and it's just in my own head, even in this internet age when everyone's just firing shots at people. Like,
oh my gosh,
like Steve,
I want to be visible.
Steve, this guy was going home. He was in bed at like 8 p.m. tweeting about me. Like that it was that personal. He just had a thing against Leonte Carew.
That's weird.
It is weird. It's weird. But what are you gonna do? So I got a question for you. So and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but what did you see at the spring game? What do you expect from Rutgers this season?
Yeah, I mean, the spring game's hard to know. I mean, a lot of the good guys didn't play. The one thing I will say I did see at the spring game, I saw depth.
Okay.
Yeah. Something that they haven't had in the past. I mean, the drop off from even last year, from first team to second team. I mean, they lost Tyreen Powell was linebacker, guy got hurt. Then you see the second teamer come out and the defense just falls apart last year.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. You're like, that's not, that doesn't happen in Ohio State. It doesn't happen in Michigan. Like Rutgers, the line between good and faltering and falling apart is really thin for Rutgers. I think finally they might be solving that. I don't know. We're going to find out this year. Hopefully they'll have better luck with injuries. Last year was a bad year with injuries. But yeah, I mean, I think finally there are some skill guys too. I mean, that was the thing, Leonte, when you left. I mean, I don't know if you followed it, but like, there was just Tim Brown, Kenny Britt,
Sanu,
Coleman,
Coleman, yep,
yeah. So Kenny actually, we're going to get him on the show. Kenny lives around the block from where we're shooting right now. He's from Bayonne too, so
yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, and then the drop, and all of a sudden, for years, it was a given that you guys had great receivers, and then went like 8 years without anybody catch the ball. It was just I don't know what happened. I'd be like, why'd you stop recruiting these guys? It was incredible. Yeah. So they finally seem to have some talent back at that position, which is, encouraging.
It always baffles me at Rutgers because we have so much homegrown talent here in New Jersey. I mean, there's got to be some kids who don't want to go to like Alabama or travel across the country. They want to stay home. And I feel like, not to criticize because I don't work in that field, but it seems like there's a lot of stuff we're missing here, but.
Yeah.
Right. Well, now they just want the biggest paycheck.
Well, that's I guess that's actually our next question.
Well, yeah, Steve. Speaking of paychecks, like you've been covering NCAA sports for a long time. Is this NIL stuff and transfer portal, is it changing the game? Is it good? Is it bad? Like, what's your opinion on it?
It's a great question. I mean, there's a lot of levels to that. I think it's good that players are finally getting paid. I think it was grossly unfair. Imagine how much you would have made. I
don't even want to think about
Jersey
it.
Mike Subs, Leonte Carew, baby, I love him.
I'm sure you don't wake up in the middle of the night going, but yeah, I mean, I think it's fair that they're getting paid. I just don't think it's fair the way it's just hard to like. All right, so now they're the haves and the have-nots, right? Like their teams. I mean, so you're in a conference where Ohio State's got a $20 million payroll, Rutgers does not. Like that's the thing. Like how you gonna manage that now? So there's some competitive balance. I think that's what's gonna happen, and we have to shift back to that just for the good of the sport. And it ain't there yet, and I don't know if this next movement, finally we're paying players, everyone's doing it. Are they going to put in a clearinghouse to make sure the deals are actually fair and even, and the guys aren't just making, $4 million for showing up? If there's some sort of way of getting this back to a sense where people are on some semblance of an even playing field. Otherwise, it's going to be the same 12 teams in the playoff.
Let's take a little bit of pressure off of Rutgers football because I wanted to talk to you about this. How disappointed were you in the Rutgers basketball season this year?
Yeah, I mean, it probably was the most disappointing season I've covered at Rutgers, Pierre. I mean, I don't think there's anything close. And just because I expected them to be an NCAA tournament team, and it was obvious by December, forget late February, that they weren't going to be. They just didn't have the supporting cast around Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper. And it just sucked. Yeah, it just took the wind out of your sails in a lot of ways. It was still fun to watch those two kids. They're kids. They're 18 years old. I can call them kids. It was still fun watching them play, and they're incredibly talented. But it just wasn't a good enough team to compete in the Big Ten, and it became evidence right away. And it was a bummer. Best way to put it.
I enjoyed watching them when Paul Mulcahy was there. He's another Bayonne native. His dad was my football coach, so those were good times. But now I'm all about Navy basketball again. So almost made the tournament this year. Almost made the tournament. Very close. It would have been the first time since the 90s, I think. So my next question for you, Steve, is we'll get off college for a little bit. Are you looking forward to anything this NFL season, Giants, Jets, or other?
Yeah, well, I mean, lately it's been other, unfortunately. I would just like to get back to the fact that give me something. Like, give me a reason to care about the NFL games in October. Like that's been the problem with these teams. I mean, like the Aaron Rodgers situation is of course glaring, but like we didn't get 4 plays into that Jets season.
Oh my gosh!
Can we get to the second quarter?
Yeah,
where you've got like something. So we've had a lot of it's been rough. It's been hard to watch that. I'd like to just see the Giants defense be at a good level. Like to see Russell Wilson kind of inject some fun into that. Let's get Malik Neighbors involved. Let's see some vertical passing. Even when the Giants were winning games, it was like every game was like a 13-10 rock fight. And let's I don't know. I'd like to see them surprise you a little bit from the Giants standpoint. The Jets, we'll see what Aaron Glenn brings. I mean, that's going to be the other part of it. Is he going to be able to put a culture in there? Is he going to kind of just get all the knucklehead part of that team that they lost games last year they shouldn't have lost. So that's going to be interesting to see what he brings to the table.
Yeah. So, I guess the last question we have for you is, do you have any questions for us?
How's it go? How's the podcast world going for you guys? I guess, it's like the sports politics. It's funny because when I saw like the description, usually when I talk about sports, there's someone saying, or talk about politics when I'm writing sports, someone immediately emails, stick to sports.
No, that's why we needed you on the show. We got to legitimize ourselves here.
the conversation.
Yeah, no, I think we're doing well. I mean, some of our clips get up to 70,000 views across platforms. We're averaging 5 to 10,000 listeners between YouTube and just listeners who listen audio only. So we're getting there. We just started. We're looking for sponsors. We actually just really enjoy doing this. I don't want to speak for Leonte, but I personally enjoy doing this. I don't know if you know our origin story, but Leonte and I are neighbors. And we kind of became friends over the last couple of years. We're from two different eras. The love of football brought us together. And, I figured if we did a sports show, we might as well talk about politics too, since that's what I do for a living. And it all came together. I don't know, Leonte, what's your take on that?
Steve, he's keeping me sharp on my politics. I tell you that. Like a lot of these athletes, we really aren't educated, or I should say some aren't even interested in knowing about politics. And I tell you what, ever since I've been working with Mike, I've found a new love for learning about it and hearing about it. So it's been really cool just to sit here and chat with him. And, we do this together, and I love it so far.
Oh, actually, you know what? I do have one more question for you. What's going on with the Knicks? You love them? You hate them? What's going on?
I mean, how could you not love them? I mean, I don't know. I don't know that this is a formula to win, to go down 20 points and then block a shot. I don't know if that's but I've allowed myself to look at it and, all right, so you're up 2-0. Cleveland's in trouble. Pacers aren't great. I mean, you don't want to look ahead because you might.
No, you do, because when this airs, either the Knicks will have won the series already or it'll be tied.
Right, well, there you go.
That's true.
This is going next
spoilers.
Monday.
I don't know who's going to win this, but I mean, it's if you win 2 road games, you are in the catbird seat. And this is now a series that I don't say the Knicks should win, but they kind of should win. Yeah.
So, anything else for us, or Leonte, you have anything else for Steve?
No, I think we're good. Thank you, Steve, so much.
You're not going to ask me about Trump's tournaments?
No. Oh, look, if you want to go there, we can go there. Look, we got all day, my friend. I got time today. So if you want to go, let's go. What do you think? First 100 days Trump, baby. Let's go, Steve. What do you got?
What I think is I pretty much had to go into I have to cancel subscriptions to The Atlantic and turn off. I can't listen to NPR anymore. It's rough, man.
Do you read my stuff though on Rolling Stone or?
Right, I do. I've seen your stuff. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Alan Sepinwall is one of my favorite writers, and of course, he's Rolling Stone.
Awesome.
So he gets me over to that site all the time. So I do. Yeah, it's been tough, and it's just, and it is because of him. And it's funny, you might be able to tune out politics as a sports writer, but I don't think you can anymore. And it's so intertwined. I mean, he's at Alabama football games. He's at UFC fights. I mean, his golf course hosted. I mean, I covered a U.S. Women's Open on his golf course. So and he's there.
Well, we were talking about last week about how he's going to hijack the NFL draft when it goes to D.C. Next year, or not next year,
2027.
Yeah. So, we're interested to see, because I don't know if you saw the Oval Office interview when he had Roger Goodell and a bunch of other owners standing behind him when he went off on a rant about girls owning $2 and stuff, or whatever he's talking about nowadays. He's certain. If Biden's mental capacity, he was losing it at the end. Trump has already lost all of his mental capacity, in my opinion.
One of my favorite, I like to believe that I was one of the people who saw this coming because of a golf tournament. So the Barclays golf tournament is at Plainfield Country Club. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking, and I'll never forget this. I'm interviewing a guy who had two holes in one in the same round.
Wow.
I'm talking
to him,
gosh. This has never happened. in golf, he's talking about it, and it's interesting.
No, it did. Kim Jong-un had 12 holes in one. He's the greatest golfer of all time. Don't lie, Steve.
I actually saw this happen. I'm so I'm talking to this guy, and this unmarked sedan pulls up, and Trump gets out of the car. This is 2015, so this is he had just we didn't have a primary yet. Summer, this was before the election. He gets out with no security, just his guy, and he just starts walking. So I walk away from it, just in mid-sentence, walk away from the guy who's telling me about the 2-hole-ones. And I followed Trump around that golf course. And the reaction from people in the galleries that day, just seeing how they responded to him, and just the buzz he had created at this golf tournament. I remember going home and I wrote the column, and I wrote about my scenes, and it went viral. And I remember going home to my wife, and I'm like, I think this might be a real thing, honey.
Oh my gosh.
I was trying to explain it to her, like, I don't think this is going to go away. And it was just so funny to just when I think about that now, like, and he actually pulled me. I have a video on YouTube because I walked up to him and I'm like, excuse me, Mr. Trump. And he goes, "Where do you work?" And I'm like, "I work for the Star Ledger. I'm the sports columnist." "Oh, I love the Star Ledger. What's your name?" Like, "Oh, yeah, I know who you are." I'm like, "Oh, really?"
I love the Star Ledger. They haven't written anything bad about me yet.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. So we get to this like, I don't know, Army, like veterans pavilion, and like the security stops me. And then Trump goes, "No, he's with me." And he like grabs me by the front of the shirt and brings me into this room with like all of these veterans and everyone's cheering for him. And he grabs me, he puts his arm around me and goes, "This guy's from the Star Ledger. If he doesn't write good about me, kick his ass."
Oh, God. Oh, my gosh.
The crowd roars. And I'm just standing there like, what is happening right now? So that video is on YouTube. I show it to my friends all the time. Like, "Hey, look."
So do we have to like blur out your face for this interview? Because they're going to be looking for you now. The QAnons are going to be looking for you.
QAnon's going to come get me. They know where to find me. Ring the doorbell. Tell them. Yeah.
Well, so I actually pranked Donald Trump before he was president, but we'll save that. We'll save that story for a different show. Prank called him. He wanted to buy the Bayonne Golf Club, and I was working for the mayor at the time, the mayor of Bayonne, and he kept leaving messages. And the mayor finally had to call him and tell him, "Look, Mr. Trump, I don't own the Bayonne Golf Club. It's privately owned. I can't sell it to you. You have to call the owner." And this is before Liberty National. Right. Well, no, maybe it wasn't. I was after Liberty National, and I got his cell phone number that way. And we'll talk about the times I got to talk to Mr. Trump in his office at Mar.
Do you still have it?
I do, but he changed his number since then.
It's too bad. Because apparently the Atlantic just like called up a cell phone and got him on you can still get him on the line. Maybe.
Yeah, he's got one number. I have it in my cell phone but now it just goes to like a voicemail because of course I've tried it again. It's like you've reached the Trump organization. Press 1 to Bad. But that was his cell phone for a long time. Apparently, it's like 8008 or something.
Wow.
Yeah, the last 4 I remember because it was like he told people it's for infinity. 8008. It's for infinity. But there we go. So Leonte, anything else you want to ask Steve? I don't want to hold him.
No, I'm enjoying you guys'
political banter.
Yeah, I love this. Keep going. All
right, let's go. Let's do it. All right, so I have a question for you, Steve. So what's your take on the whole Kamala Trump? I worked Pennsylvania, so I really didn't. I had a little bit of a different view because I'm not a reporter. I'm a columnist. I try to pretend I'm a reporter, but I'm not. But we. I worked in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania seemed good to me. I went to an Eagles tailgate rally for Kamala. We didn't get too many hot dogs thrown at us. Half the people were like, "Yeah, good, screw him," and half the people are like, "Screw you." So what's your take on you're a sports writer, on the late pulling your starting player, pulling your starting pitcher out in the 8th inning and putting in the young juice? What do you think about that?
I can't second guess it now because I was screaming for it at the time. So
yes, you're right. Yeah.
I can't pretend that like, oh, that was a bad idea. No, it's like when you write the column, bench the quarterback and the backup sucks. You gotta own it. Oh, I kind of said to bench the quarterback. Like you can't go back and say, oh, why did the coach do that? So I was totally in favor for it. And I thought she was doing great. I gotta be honest. Like I never really expected her to win. I guess it's just, and I was hoping it was just like the fatal, that like, let's just have a really negative, like expect the worst and maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. But instead, I expected the worst and you
got the worst. Actually, I think you got worse than the worst. I mean, I'm still a bit of an idealist. I think she rose to the occasion. I thought we could pull it off. I mean, I didn't think Biden had a shot, especially after the incident in Pennsylvania. But certainly, and then Leonte and I were actually talking about this yesterday after the show. We went out to lunch, and the reason why. I don't think that she was their first choice, but the reason why they kept her is because her name was on the campaign account, and they would have lost hundreds of millions of dollars had they picked a different candidate. So she certainly, and she was the vice president. So I mean, I guess that also came into play. And I don't know who was on his committee for contingency, but I'm sure her name was there. So I think it was legally and just quickest, financially the easiest route. And she did rise to the occasion. I went to the DNC. I watched her speak. I think she was phenomenal. And, you know, the contrast between the two couldn't have been more stark, in my opinion.
Right.
You know, it's the prosecutor versus the felon, and now the felon is showing us why he's the felon, because he's really, really running the score up on the legal world right now. But as I always tell people, if you break the law today, it doesn't mean you're going to get away with it tomorrow. So any ICE agents listening or anyone else listening, we're watching and we're documenting everything. And just because you're not getting in trouble now doesn't mean in 4 years you won't be held accountable. Disclaimer.
I will say you have to like find simple pleasures. And it was a simple pleasure watching Roger Goodell stand behind him and just like, what is he talking about? Like, you could just see the expression on his face and like, foreign films. Like, no one had briefed him on that.
He was squirming. But I think at this point, you got to expect he's going to say something completely insane when you go into the White House.
Of course, right? Yeah, but I don't think he expected to be standing behind him as he was doing it. It was like that Chris Christie meme of the famous one where he's standing behiund him and just like you can see his eyes moving, like what have I done?
Yeah. I thought you were talking about the other one. The one in the beach chair.
Oh, that's a different one entirely. Yeah. That was Andrew Mills, our photographer, who caught that photo. It was one of the greatest political photos of all time.
Really. I mean, I think Chris Christie is probably the person I least expected to become a meme that didn't have a bridge involved in it. But he did it.
But you can make it a bridge. You can cut and paste that and put it on any bridge if you want. That's the great thing.
You can put it anywhere, particularly at a Mets game or whatever.
Exactly.
So I think Christie's actually doing the opposite of what we do. He went from political talk to sports talk. Remember he had a show or something?
He did. Yeah, he was good too. He was funny on it. I don't know if he was like, there was one point to talk about him being a possible replacement for Mike Francesa. That obviously didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, I actually I liked Christie as someone to talk to. I did like an hour-long interview in his office when he was first elected governor about sports. And it's not like he's not making it up. I mean, big Mets fan, loves it, loves baseball, goes to all the games. I mean, he is passionate about this stuff. So
now I believed he loved the Mets the second he put on baseball pants. You really got to love the Mets to put on baseball pants when, you know.
He put on baseball pants?
Yeah, and it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, Google it. No, don't Google it.
No, actually, it might keep you up at night, yeah. So we're getting shorter on time here, so we're going to let you go, but we definitely would love to have you back. You know, apologize about the technical problems in the beginning. You're actually our first phone interview. So our first guest was Bless Austin. He came into the studio. We went out after and had some laughs. But if you ever can get up to Bayonne, we'd love to have you in the studio. But our calls are always going to be working from now on. So we'll have you anytime that we can get you.
Okay, no problem. I appreciate you having me on, guys. Thanks. It was fun.